Hello Internet, quick little one for you today. I've had an idea to do a video for this movie in my back pocket for a little while now, and it seems that Scream Factory in the US are releasing this movie on Blu-ray now, so reviews are popping up online and all over the place. So it seems, why not stick in my 2 pence worth? It's 1977's The Sentinel, directed by Michael Winner. I'm going to keep this fairly light. I watched this with pretty much no clue as to the content whatsoever, and that's probably the best way to see it, I suspect. If it's a movie you've never heard about, and I had certainly never heard about it, it was, I'll be honest with you, the cast and crew that piqued my interest. It's directed by Michael Winner, a sort of infamous director here in the UK, probably best known for directing the Death Wish movies. He's, if you want to be unkind, generally referred to as a hack director. He was most certainly, if I want to choose my words a little more kindly, he was definitely a jobbing director. He would definitely turn his hand in a workmanlike fashion to whatever would turn a profit at the time. And I think maybe more often than not would bring out more of the exploitative comment in whatever content in whatever genre he was working in. To turn a buck, basically, he was a jobbing director. He wanted to turn a buck, so he turned his hand to anything. And my personal opinion, you know, he'd a bit like a workhorse. He'd put the films out without necessarily investing anything particularly special in them. So it wasn't Winner's name that got me interested in this. It is the bizarre cast. You will not believe this. I've written down most of the names. Let me just. It's filled with sort of this long established actors sort of in the twilight of their career, and lots of young up and coming actors who would then just go on to become enormous stars, but in no particular order. It stars Christina Rains, but it also features Chris Sarandon from Fright Night and Child's Play, Ava Gardner, Burgess Meredith, Beverly D'Angelo from the Vacation movies, Christopher Walken, Jeff Goldblum is in this movie, John Carradine, Sylvia Miles, Eli Wallach, Tom Berenger, and Nana Visitor. Nana Visitor's Major Kira from Star Trek Deep Space Nine are in it very, very briefly at the end, even more briefly, so brief that it's uncredited. Richard Dreyfuss is in this movie. Jerry Orbach, Martin Balsam. And I just, all of these people are in this horror movie and I've never heard of it? Well, screw that. I'm getting it because I have to see it. If you've never heard of The Sentinel and that's piqued your interest, I would say that that's reason enough to check it out. It's a curiosity. There are some people that online who seem to actually adore this movie and say it scared the hell out of them, and they all seem to recount a very similar story, that they either saw it at a double bill at a drive-in or it was on late night cable one time. There seems to be a consistent thread of if this movie caught you young and at the right impressionable age, it stayed with you and continues to be one of your cornerstones of your horror memories. Coming to it later, I can't. It's a curiosity. There's absolutely no way, I'll be honest with you, I can out and out recommend the film. But if the cast alone piques your interest, as it did mine, it's worth 90 minutes of your time checking it out. As a movie, with someone like Michael Winner at the helm, the movie is overly concerned to make you understand what it's drawing its outside inspirations from. As you guys know, when Rosemary's Baby came out in '68 and The Exorcist in '73, the devil was suddenly big business. And a lot of people jumped on the devil bandwagon, and there was a sort of B list of devil movies, I guess, headed by the Omen. and its ilk, and then there's a C and D grade, which is sort of influenced and following in their wake, trying to pick up the last of the crumbs. I think that there was a prestige project in here somewhere, because originally the intention was that it was to be directed by Don Siegel, and that John Williams, the mighty John Williams, was to have done the score, but they all passed, and eventually it sort of filters down from a prestige project to a Michael Winner film. I mean, it wears its influences unabashedly on its sleeve. It opens with a shot of a monastery in Italy that took me aback instantly, because it's either exactly the same monastery used in the Omen, or it was scouted and found, because it looked so similar. Honestly, the film opens and I thought, that's the monastery from the Omen. And then there are some Italian priests, and it's like, this film's like the Omen, guys. Then after the Italy bit, it cuts to an establishing shot of New York, which is of Central Park and high rises around it, like in Rosemary's Baby. Hey guys, remember Rosemary's Baby? And our heroine decides she's not quite ready for marriage yet. She's living with a successful lawyer, but she doesn't sort of she wants a couple of years in a place on her own to have her own identity before she settles down with him. So she moves into this apartment block where she gets introduced to strange people already living there, which is a lot like Rosemary's Baby. So there's it's an IKEA film. You can see where this bit slots into. So this Omen bit is going to slot into this Rosemary's Baby's bit, and then we're going to have this sort of exorcisty bit going here, and it's all put together competently, but without love, without vim and vigor. There are bits in it. I mean, it's a bizarre movie. You won't forget it once you've seen it. There's a very effective knife attack about halfway through, which is like something straight out of a Lucio Fulci movie. And I promise you, I sat, oh, whoa. I mean, it's so fast and so violent and very explicitly gory, and then done. I promise you, you'll be reaching, as I did, for your remote control to rewind and go back. Did I just see what I thought I saw? And then you'll play it back in slow motion to see where the dummy comes in, and the knife in the eye and the nose. And trust me, it's an unexpected moment of high, Italian splatter cinema gore in a movie that up till then was aping a slow burn Rosemary's Baby and Omen feel. There's an absolutely bonkers scene. If you want to see the mum from the Vacation movies in a leotard, masturbating through her leotard at the heroine of the movie to make her feel uncomfortable and awkward, you're sitting there going, what the fuck? Am I watching this? Is this... Okay, they put this in the movie? I'll be honest with you, it's got the greatest birthday party I've ever seen in a movie. It's a birthday party thrown for a cat called Jezebel. There's another weird moment much later towards the end of the film where you see Burgess Meredith owns a cat and a canary, and later on you see the cat eating the canary. That reminds me again of the Italian splatter cinema. I don't want to think that they actually had the cat eat the real canary. I want to think it's a fake canary filled with meat that the cat's chowing down on, but it did remind me of the worst of Italian gore cinema, and things like Cannibal Holocaust and the like. And Argento does it as well. He's since says he regrets it, but there were no qualms during a period of Italian filmmaking where they didn't worry at all about putting a camera on an animal being killed or an animal in distress. And it descends to, the worst excess of this, and this is Michael Winner at his most exploitative. And the film, Christ, got in trouble when it was released in '77, and sensibilities now are much more finely tuned to this. The culmination of the film features an awful lot of people with very what the hell's the word I'm looking for? The aging process. I think it's exaggerated, very exaggerated physical deformities. And whereas, again, I mean, this is Michael Winner reaching into his little tool bag of successful films made artistically that have come before that he wants to ape, and he's thinking of Todd Browning's Freaks. But whereas I think that had a much more nuanced reason to have people like that in the film. Winner just brings them in for shock value and actually aligns physical deformity with evil in the movie. Earlier on, he aligns homosexuality with evil as well. Now, I think some of that comes from the source material of the book, which I understand is slightly problematic. But the physical deformities, I mean, this is Winner to a T. This is. I mean, he's obviously capable, but he will go for the lowest common denominator. This bothers some people. Other people say, hey, you know, these people got their Screen Actors Guild cards and they got paid, and we don't see enough representations of this on the screen as it is. Recently, Under the Skin with Scarlett Johansson, I think, featured a gentleman with a very pronounced facial deformity, but not as a denizen of hell as someone with a facial deformity, and that's where the problem is. Winner does he is like a carnival ringmaster, and it does seem a little like come and see the freaks in his hands. It does seem a little distasteful, but I wouldn't necessarily avoid the film because of it. See it if you can. The cast is insanely amazing. The story itself, on a theological level, is incredibly problematic because it's very rooted in Catholic dogma. There are a couple of really interesting movies in there smushed together. Chris Sarandon's character, can you trust him or not? That plays wonderfully all the way through. Other things are sort of fumbled. I like the way that the church is, and the machinations of the church do make you suspicious. The Catholic Church in this movie plays almost like the devil's disciples in the Omen movie play out, which is an interesting way to go. I will remember it mostly for the knife attack. Honestly, that has to be seen to be believed. The fact that you see so many amazing actors in it. I'll remember it for Jezebel the Cat's birthday party because that's just hilarious. And if anyone who's seen the movie can tell me what on earth they think the line black and white cat, black and white cake means, I will be delighted to hear your theories, because that jumped out as such a weird line. Black and white cat, black and white cake. If anyone's got any ideas what that means, tell me below. Hey, like this if you liked it. Subscribe if you liked it. And my next video will be the third of Dario Argento's Three Mothers trilogy, The Mother of Tears. And then there's going to be another Three Mothers video after that. How can there possibly be a video after you've done the third movie of the trilogy? Subscribe and find out.